Hey, what's up? I'm Coaster Cat, aka Roller Coaster Rider, and after a bit of a long hiatus from my last top 5, and I really wanted to do this probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, but things just happened, things came up, and you don't care about that stuff. Anyway, welcome to Top 5, where I list 5 things that I want a theme park to add that I think would be a smart decision. Let's spin. I need to get a bigger budget. Elitch Gardens in Denver, Colorado. This park opened in 1995 and has been through several management, including the original, I believe, Elitch family, Six Flags, I think Hershend for a while, and now I think it's back to Premier management, or maybe it might be individual management. Well, anyway, I'm gonna tell you what I thought about the park, and then I'm gonna go into my top 5. First of all, I went in 2015, so some of my thoughts might be slightly outdated, and well, what can I say? Denver isn't exactly cheap to fly to, no offense. Also, when I went there, Twister 2 was sadly closed. So, while you may hear me say something about Twister 2, that is just a rough guess based on what I would think that type of ride would be. And another thing is that Elitch is very small. It's, I think, 70 acres, so don't expect me to say like a mile-long hypercoaster. I'm sure people of Denver would love that, though. But anyway, so let's rock and Rocky Mountain, let's go to Denver and rock and roll. Number 5. I hate to get repetitive, but this is something I think this is something that all the former Six Flags parks need to do, and any park that has a coaster called Boomerang. You need to rename your Mind Eraser and your Boomerang. Pick a different bird for Mind Eraser and pick a different name for Boomerang. Boomerang is a very generic name, and Mind Eraser is a very rough SLC. Speaking of which, again, I hate to get repetitive, but I'm going to. New trains on Mind Eraser, Boomerang, and Sidewinder. Mind Eraser is a traditional Vekoma SLC, Boomerang is a traditional Boomerang, and Sidewinder is a unique, custom-designed Aero Shuttle Loop coaster. Which, by the way, if you ride that in a certain row, you get a little bit of airtime, which is fun and adorable. This can be like 5.1 on this list, but you got to do something about Mind Eraser's capacity. I've been there, and that is the ride that has the worst capacity, the longest lines, the slowest moving lines. I'm not making this up. A girl actually passed out. A girl passed out in the queue line. And I don't think that's something that should happen at all. So, yeah. Please also consider enclosing the queue line for Mind Eraser so people don't pass out on the coaster. And also, again, new trains, new names, and new paint is a sign that this park is here to stay and wants to be unique and different and differentiate itself from the previous Six Flags management. I forgot, also, park management was also a manager at one point. I probably should have done this one as number 5 because it's probably the least plausible and borderline fantasy. How much money do I think the park has? Because the park is on 70 acres and I believe it shares parking with a giant Pepsi stadium or something like that, and there's also a ton of parking around it, I think they should probably look into adding a parking garage. That way they can take up some of the parking space area and expand the park, which would probably just create more tax. I'm not going to get political in this. Also, the park needs to reevaluate the park policy on both water and blazing buckaroo. I found it extremely odd and I think technically illegal that the park did not offer free cups of water. And if you wanted to get free cups of water, you had to buy a souvenir bottle, which. Yeah, I understand parks are here to make money, but that's kind of price gouging. Fortunately, I did find a place that did offer free cups of water, and if this policy has changed, why don't you comment below and let me know if it has, and if it hasn't, well, darn on you, Denver and Elitch. Um, Blazing Buckaroo. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get into this. I'm a coaster enthusiast, and I wasn't allowed to ride the Blazing Buckaroo because they said you had to. Because they said you couldn't be. You had to have a kid if you were over, 50, over 54 inches, I think. Yeah. However, on the park map and guide, when I went, it didn't say that. It just said you just had to be over 42 inches. I'm over 42 inches. I do not have a kid. So, pick one policy. I don't know if the rule has changed, but, and I know that that model is a type of coaster where you can ride by yourself. So, okay. Moving on. Number 3. As I had less than a day in the park, I was unable to go to the Island Kingdom water park. No offense, Elitchers, but, it seemed like a traditional water park with a raft ride, body slides, tube slides, wave pool, lazy river, family play area, and half pipe tornado and bowl slides. What I think the park needs, especially since I don't know if Highland Hills Water World has something like this, but what about a rocket slide? Something that can go up and down hills, something that starts at ground level, and something that can go around it, that can go around the water park. Essentially, it could be like their version of the Aqua Duck, if you are familiar with Disney Cruise Lines, about essentially just a master blaster that goes around the cruise ship. This is something that can go around the water park, and as a result, not much of anything would need to be removed. It would be custom designed, and it would be something unique and marketable to the Denver area. Number 2. Hey, coaster enthusiast, wake up. It's your turn now. First of all, the park used to have something called the Flying Coaster. Yes, that was its name, and that's what kind of ride it was. It was a compact coaster from Zamperla of Italy, and was the first of its kind in the world, I believe. So and it since got removed in 2007, 2008, I believe. So, and as far as I'm aware of, that spot has remained empty. So here's what I'm thinking: replace it with a new coaster. Duh. Either a Vekoma or Gerstlauer family boomerang. If you don't know what that is, that's essentially something like a Vekoma boom. That's essentially like boomerang there. Except it doesn't go upside down, and it's, well, for families. I know of people that hate Vekoma boomerangs, but love the family Vekoma boomerangs. I've been on Rewind Racers, which is a Zamperla family boomerang style coaster, and that ride was a lot of fun. So, how about something like that? Or if they want to be ultra cool, what about something like Switchback at ZDT's? Like a Gravity Group Switchback coaster. Wouldn't that be awesome? Something that goes forwards and backwards, something that can be compact, something that can offer airtime, and something that has a 90-degree spike. My only concern is that for a park that already has like 2 shuttle coasters, I feel like, Boomerang, Sidewinder, Half Pipe. 3 shuttle coasters already. This one, at a 4th, might be a little repetitive, but when you've got space constraints, you kind of have to work with what you've got. So anyway, that's my guess for what could be added there that would be unique and awesome. Or maybe even a Wild Mouse or a regular Gerstlauer or Marzone spinning coaster. something compact and something unique would be a smart idea there. Number 1, Rocky Mountain Iron Horse Twister 2. Apparently, from what I've heard, Twister 2, the tagline was wilder the second time around, but from what I've heard, it was just more of a shoddily made, poor imitation of the original and much less intense. Well, I'm sure Rocky Mountain could fix that with some steeper drops, some tighter turns, a more intense helix, and some camelback hills, and maybe even bring back the tunnel because I don't think the current one has a tunnel. Plus also increase capacity with some more trains. I believe they only have like 2 trains with 4 cars, I think. That's kind of pathetic. Maybe more like they need 3 trains with like 5 cars or something. But anyway, I think to get Elitch back on the map, they need to Rocky Mountain and Iron Horse Twister 2. So anyway, I'm sorry for getting this up late. I'm sorry that this isn't as unique or as explosive as some other ideas that I have for some other parks. But, when you have a small budget, when you have a small park, and when you have land constraints, you can only do so much. So anyway, that's mine, and I guess I need to give a hint for my next top 5, and um, I don't know. I've got none. All I can say is y'all come around now, okay?